check. Hey, Scott Ayers here with Product Demo Lab, and we are going to look at some pool stuff for the next hour. Different things that you can use in your pool or clean your pool with primarily. And I just thought about something that I normally do during this stream that I didn't do. And what if we did that? Ooh, hey, look at that. So now we look like we're in some water. So if you will make sure you follow us, or us, it's just me. I always want to say follow us. I'm the only one here. Me and the little guy over there. It's only two people here. Make sure you follow. Make sure you unmute. Make sure you say hi. Make sure you hit the heart. If I can type, hit the heart. And make sure you click on products. All the stuff in the carousel is related to pools, most of it pool cleaning. I have an above ground pool, which you'll see in pretty much all my videos here. We got an above ground pool in 2020. You know, everybody was like, hey, lockdown, got nothing to do, no school, you know, that kind of stuff. My wife's a teacher, so we were really bored. And so we got an above ground pool. We were on our second above ground pool. Our first one was a cheap one that we had bought from a local store. It starts with a W and didn't last very long. So now I've got an Intex pool, which is in the carousel. I think it's out of stock right now, but we'll see. And so I like to play around and see how I can keep it clean. So that's what we're going to look at, is a lot of stuff related to that. I'm going to come over here. Oh, and look, something's already playing because I forgot to turn that off earlier. And I'm going to do two things because I, again, forgot to do this before we got started. Let's put that one up instead because we are looking at pool stuff. So makes sense that we would do our pool stuff placeholder here, right? And then let me turn on, let me find it. Let me turn this background on here. That'll make it a little bit more feel like we are in the pool, hanging out, doing our thing. And I got one more thing somewhere I need to turn on if I can find it. Sometimes when you forget to do stuff in OBS, you're like, well, that was not very smart, was it? Where is it at? I thought I had like some words I could have put up. Oh, I bet you what I can do here. I thought I had something here I could throw up on the screen. We can do that. There we go. That'll work. All right, so now that I've got all the pre-stuff out of the way that I should have had done before I started, let me show you this little duck floater.
Little ducky end
chlorine tablet
that I'm going to try out. This is a chlorine floater. Holds the, the big 3-inch chlorine tablets. Ooh, I do like that this is see-through. I don't know if I've ever had one that's see-through, so that makes it real easy for me to see when these start to dissolve. Let's see. Spins off. Does have a little piece of paper in here. And then this can hold probably up to like 4 of these because this expands. So you decide, you know, do you want it like that or do you want it?
You can just
down
duck,
like
crocodile,
that? I'm just
flamingo,
gonna put
dinosaur,
2 in here
octopus,
to
turtle,
get started.
green dinosaur, and
And you
yellow
just
dinosaur. They have too.
Drop them down in there like so, and then screw this piece onto it. It's usually pretty easy if you just get these lined up. Don't force it on, it'll go on pretty easily. And then from here you have this part here is that you'll be able to turn. It's a little hard to see because of the sunlight, but maybe you can see it if I kind of play with it a little bit. But you can open and close this to different amounts. There's little pieces of plastic. The plastic will kind of open it up. Like right there, it's not open all the way. That's like almost closed. That's like fully open. So I'm gonna leave it fully open. The other cool thing with this, there is a little spot right here where you could tie a rope to it. And so if you wanted to keep this tethered to one side of your pool so it didn't constantly get stuck like on your over the side skimmer, you could do that, or get stuck on your ladder or whatever. You can put a little rope on it and tie it up. So it looks pretty cool already. Let's put it in the pool. And once you put them in the pool, I mean, you can just toss them in there obviously, but just set it in there. Sometimes we'll just hold on to them and let them fill up with water, and then it fills up pretty quick. And then it's just gonna float around and do its thing and help get a little bit of chlorine into your water. This is a necessity if you have an above ground pool, unless you're using some other way to get your chlorine in it. But most of us, this is the way we're gonna do it. And then the summer comes, I'll have to fill that thing completely up to make sure I'm really getting.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a great way to get your chlorine in your pool. It's fun looking. It looks kind of cute. You know, kids will like it. I've got the duck and the turtle one from this brand, and I like the see-through container. That is something you normally don't see. Most of them are white, so you never can really. You can shake it and see, okay, I can hear there's still something in there, but you don't know how big they really are. But when it's clear like this, I can pull it up and look, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm out, or I'm down to just one little nub, you know, of a tablet. So I like these. $15.99 for the little duck one. I don't know if the Intex pool is available. Let me look here. I'll go ahead and pop my video up. I'm going to do something else here because that little thing is getting in the way and it's going to bug me all the entire time. Where is my thing here? Here we go. No, it's going to do it regardless. Let me see. Is this available? It may not be. Oh, it's not. Well, the 18 by 52 is available. So here, my pool here is a 24-foot round. It's 52 inches tall. But they do make this in other sizes. So if you want something a little bit different size, you can look at it. What I've got to say is Intex in general, I've been really impressed. Like, I debated really hard last year when we bought this last March. Did I go with this or did I go with the cheaper one? Like, and I was like, so I went with the Intex, and I've been very satisfied with it. Like, I love how it looks. I love that gray. I love how easy it was to put together, and it comes with a big sand pump. That at first I couldn't figure out how to use, and now I've figured it out, and I really like it. When before I'd only had the cartridge, now I understood the cartridge and how to do those. But I feel like the pool is cleaner now with the sand filter, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but it works. Yeah, so check out the pool if you're looking for a pool. I would really recommend Intex, any of the sizes, obviously, even though I tagged the 52 inch one by 24. All right, let's look at some pool vac. So the first one we're going to look at is one from Aiper. It's the Scuba
with the Aiper Scuba SE little pool vacuum, designed for above ground pools. I'd say a little bit less than about 860 square feet. Cleans for about 90 minutes, picking up all the debris and stuff off the bottom of your pool. So let's chunk it into my pool. All right, before we chunk it in there, you do charge it here on the bottom. your button here to turn it on, you can see we've got two little holes here with some sweepers that are going to sweep the bottom of the pool for one, which is not really dirty right now.
This is on sale 18%
so I don't
off today.
expect a lot of stuff to be in here.
There's also a
but
$10
it'll sweep it,
off
push things into here. This is very
page.
hydrodynamic. It's very close to the ground. Like, look how close those wheels are. I mean, they're recessed and they're like crazy. So we're just going to push the button. You hear it beep, and then, I mean, just chunk it in there. You can hold it down in there, but usually, see, it got into the water enough before the motor kicked on. And then what it's going to do is it's going to start up pretty quick. You'll see the little flaps open up. It'll kind of go the opposite direction of whatever the flap is. And this is going to clean for about 90 minutes in the bottom of your pool, kind of zigzagging around, picking up the leaves and debris and stuff of that nature. So we'll watch it kind of kick in here. And there it goes. Like I said, if there were debris in the bottom, it would grab it. This is so low to the ground that a pool like mine with a bunch of wrinkles and stuff, it will kind of get diverted here and there. That's to be expected. You're supposed to be flat. The other thing too is you cannot use this in an in-ground pool that has changes in depth. It will not make it back out of the depth because it's moved by pressure from the motor on top. So if you do have dips, holes, things like that, it might get stuck. So you don't want it to do that. When it does encounter a wall, it'll kind of tap up against it. It feels that it hits something based on kind of the balancer in there, and then it'll take off. Again, gonna clean for about 90 minutes. Mine's a 24-foot round. I would say anything's bigger than that is too big. Mine's almost too big, honestly, based on the amount of time. 90 minutes is the amount of cleaning you've got. So we'll come back, and what it'll do is it'll park against the wall. We'll pull it out. I'll show you how to clean it and what might be inside it. Look how fast it's zipping across there. All right, so the vacuum ended up stopping right about there. We'll grab our hook and just get a hold of it. I missed this then. Get a hold of it and pull it up to the surface of the water, and it's pretty lightweight. And then when you start to pull it out, there's a quick release there on the front. See where that water comes out. I just usually let it hang here for a couple of seconds, and then let's just open it up right here and we'll see what sort of stuff we might have in. Like I said, the pool is not really that dirty, but ooh, I do see some little stuff. So look at that. So here's some kind of bugs all in my pool yesterday, and look at those little bitty things. Caught every single one of these. So I'll need to rinse this out real quick, and that's what it should look like when it's clean. And this can go either direction lengthwise. The part that sticks up does have to face upward, so you just kind of get that into there. The motor piece can go on either direction, back and forth. This kind of fits down. There's little clips here on both sides that'll pop into play. And now, I mean, we're ready to recharge this again. You will need to make sure that the
Seagull, the Scuba SE is good for pools up to about 860 square feet, and that's mainly because it cleans 90 minutes. So you don't want to have too big of a pool, because then it may not have time to go across it and really cover everything and clean it. That's why you'll see all these different brands always say up to certain square feet. But the typical above ground pool that most of us buy here on Amazon is probably going to be fine. Okay. Anything bigger than that, you're going to need one of the bigger pool vacs. This one right now, though, $129.99 is a really good price. Now, I do think probably the one that's going to be the least expensive, I'm assuming today, just when I looked at it earlier, is going to be this here from Coaster. This is the Planet
above ground pool robotic vacuum cleaner. We're going to put it in our 24-foot round above ground pool. It's already charged. It charges here on the bottom. You can see the brushes and the little inlets where it pulls all your debris and dirt in. And we are going to hold this button down and wait till it gets through a couple of the colors and then let go. It'll turn solid green. That's when you're ready to go. You've got like 25 seconds to get it down into the pool, and then you want to hold this in there. Give it a good dump.
It runs actually 10 minutes longer than
wait till
Aper.
The majority of the bubbles are kind of gone, and then if you let it go at this point, it should land straight down and then start taking off. Now this is going to do no particular pattern. It's just going to go, and then what it'll end up doing is when it taps against a wall, or I've got some really bad wrinkles, my ground is settling, and it hits those wrinkles, it will turn itself around the other way. So right here, it's going to tap against the wall, and it's going to go, oh, I got a wall to deal with, and then the light will turn white on it, and then it'll go the opposite direction here. And there's not a lot of debris in the bottom of the pool right now. I've got sand in there like crazy, either from my pump possibly messing up, or just storms. We got a lot of wind happening right now, but it'll do its thing for a little over an hour and a half, like 100 minutes of cleaning on it, and then it'll park itself against the wall, and we'll pull it out, and I'll show you how to clean it and what's debris we might have inside of it.
All right,
so the Planet has ended over here by the pool side, so we are going to pull it out. Let it drain out the water over here at the pool. Just makes your life easier, plus you don't waste that water. And then you'll take this over to wherever it is that you clean out your pool vac. All right, so we access this one by opening up all 4 sides. All right, so that's perfectly clean. There's nothing ever in this you have to worry about. And then we'll open it up, and boom, look at that. So we've got little stuff here, some sand pieces and things, but look at the amount of leaves, because it started to storm while this was running, and got a bunch of good leaves in there. So then you're just going to simply dump that out and then rinse it. And this only goes back together one way. So get that together here, put that piece on there, and then snap these back into place. And then once you've dried off that port down here, you're ready to go back and charge it again. So yeah, that is the Coast Steering Planet pool vacuum. Cleans for 100 minutes on any above ground pool.
So again, these are made to pick up debris. They're not made to pick up algae. But one of the benefits that I see with this style of pool vac, where it's kind of the whole piece that goes over instead of being a basket to pull out, is it will end up catching a lot of dirt. Because that dirt has nowhere else to go. Once it's in there, it's in there. It's not going to go back out. So that is a huge advantage, I think, with these. So price on this one, though, is going to be the best price you'll see in the carousel. This has got 4.2 stars, which honestly in the pool vacuum industry is really good. You see a lot of them with much, much lower than that. 800 plus of these have been bought in the last month. It's just $100 for the blue-gray one, as they call it. I mean, if you got an in-ground pool and it's not a real big one, this is a perfect way to keep that thing clean. And here's the thing, too. In all these pool vacs, you got to put them in the pool every day. There's just no option there. Like, every day, this should be in your pool. During this, you hit springtime, you start, opening up. Whenever you open up, like if you cover yours and whenever you take your cover off, you should have this in your pool every day. There's just no excuse, because otherwise stuff is going to cause algae and you're going to get your pool dirty, and you'll complain that the vacuum's not doing its job. The vacuum's not made to pick up algae. There's not very many that are, and you got to spend about $1,200 to get one in most cases that picks up algae. Now the next one will be that one alternative. The next one we want to look at is the Aper Scuba E1. It is a pool vac designed for above ground pools that has a microorganism filter on it.
Scuba E1
cool.
from Aiper is the perfect robot pool vacuum for an above ground pool. I've got a 24-foot round above ground pool. I'm going to put this in. This has what they call the tri-motor system. So you got a motor on one side for that wheel, motor on this side for that wheel. It also will move this brush on the bottom, and then you've got a motor here which is for the suction and the filtering. This does have a dual filter system in it. Well, I'll show you when we get done cleaning, but this will clean for about 2 hours on my floor. Your floor does need to be 100% flat, so you could use this in an in-ground pool. It's got a certain size limitation you'll have to deal with, but as long as it's not a real big pool, but it has to be flat, like no changes in depth, no changes in height whatsoever. So all I have to do here is hold this down. You hear it beep, and then put it in the water. I like to help it a little bit. Let it start to sink. It's going to start sensing the water once it realizes it's completely full. Try to figure out where it's at, and then here it goes. So you can see it going across the pool. So it's going to kind of just zigzag around the pool. It's going to pick up any leaves or debris that might be on the bottom of the pool, any dead bugs, stuff like that. And then it'll park itself to the side. We'll come back and pull it out and show you what we might get in there. The pool is not real dirty at the moment, but the filtration is going to be so interesting to watch. Taking the E1 out of the pool, you open it up here in the front, little latch there. They'll push all the way back to stay open for you. So your basket is here. Any debris that it might catch will be down in there. And then the big thing I always want to look at is how dirty that is. So let's clean both of these off. You can see this is supposed to be white, right? So I can just start rinsing this off. It's going to get a lot of this out. Turning it over is helpful as well. Normally you'll do this with 2 hands, but I am recording, so.
Look how dirty that was. I mean, it went
So
from
it
brown to
should be much, much whiter than what it was when we pulled it out. We'll put that back down in, clean that out, and then the E1 is ready to go. Got to charge it back up, clean our pool again.
So the Scuba E1 is only made for above ground pools, or if you have an in-ground pool that's totally flat, like no changes in depth. So this is not one that's going to be able to make it back up if you have a deep end. So it's got to be a flat pool. But the cool part is it's got that little brush on the bottom that's scrolling and moving and cleaning the floor as it goes, and it has that micro filter. That micro filter will pick up all that little debris, that dirt and algae for you, where most of the above ground pool vacs are not going to do that. So take a look at the Scuba E1. All right, let's see. Let's look at Gosford. Gosford is a brand that I've been playing around with here a lot in the last month or so. Let's see if I can find the green one here. And let's look at this one here.
This is the green-handled Gosford little pool vac made for above ground pools. So we're going to toss it in our 24-foot round pool. It does charge here on the bottom. You'll turn it on here.
It's only
got little brushes that kind of sweep the floor.
I take that back. It's 109.
Your openings
That
are
is
here.
a
So
good
if you
price.
push the button, you hear it beep and turn on. Then you're going to want to put it down in the water and just kind of hold it until you feel like it's filled up, and then let go of it. And look at that, taking off already. Now it's going to move around the pool in kind of a zigzag sort of pattern for about 90 minutes. This is good for a pool up to 860 square feet, and then we'll come fish it back out when it's done, see if it gets any leaves or debris or anything that might be on the bottom of the pool. There's always stuff there you can't see. All right, so the vacuum, when it gets down to 15% battery, parked up against the side here, and then I'll need to go fish it out. It looks like it's pretty clean on the bottom of the pool. I don't see much of anything sitting over there. So we'll use our hook here attached to a pole, and we'll just kind of pull it out. It will pretty much feel like it weighs nothing when you pull it out. Then you pull it out and get it to the top of the water. And then once you pull it out, if you'll hold it here, that'll let all that water out really quickly. And then take it over to where you're going to clean it. When you're ready to open it, you're just going to pull this side and that side, and then set that piece off the side. You're not going to have to do anything to that. It's going to be clean. And then under here is going to be, oh yes. So look at this. So we've got a bunch of little tiny stuff all over this. And then down in here, we've got a good bit of leaves and I don't know, it looks like little tiny bugs and other things down here. So you'll need to get your hose with a sprayer is what I recommend, and rinse all this out. And this is what it should look like when it's clean. When it comes to this piece here, these pieces have to face upward. It doesn't matter if it goes this or this way, but they do face up. And then the unit just pops back on, and you'll pop that, and now you are ready to move on and recharge it again. So yeah, that's the Gosford pool vacuum here with the green handle.
So this is a good deal on this one. Oh, I didn't realize it was going to shut off. $119.99 on it right now. Get that to come back on there. So this again is one that's made for above ground pools. They don't need to be a giant above ground pool. You know, you got an 18 to 24 foot. You're going to be finding smaller. Good little pool vac. So check that one out from Gosford. They make it with an orange handle or a green handle. It's the same vacuum. All right. Let's look at the stick vac here. Let me find my thing there.
Got some of these creases here, and dirt gets in them all the time. So I could even hop in the pool with this if I wanted to. You can see some kind of dirty spots over there on the edge. I'm gonna see if I can get those. Right there. You could use this on the wall of your pool. Pole, really nice. And I was noticing too, like as I come up, I can suck in this bug. Come here, bug. You can also take off the brush if you wanted to and just use it, you know, with the tube. All right, to take it apart, a little button there that says press. So if I press that, pops that off, and you can see down in there, got some bugs and stuff. I'm gonna have to go get that. So you want to clean that part out, but then look down in there. Just that quick use of it. Look at that. Just that quick use. All that stuff got in there. So I'll need to rinse that out and then put it back together. But I mean, I only use that for a few seconds really. And look at all that. And then now we'll put it back together nice and clean. You'll put this filter part in there first. It'll kind of like snap in place, and then snap that back together, and you're good to go. So I mean, real easy to use. I think if you've got a hot tub, you've got an in-ground pool with steps, you've got a smaller like kiddie pool or something, I think this is perfect. Or if you need to hop in the pool like ours and do some spot cleaning, excellent piece here.
So real easy way to clean your pool. Sometimes you don't want a robot. Sometimes you just want to do it manually. This is a way to do that. You can also use a stick vac like this for like cleaning pool steps. Like if you got an in-ground pool and it's got steps, this is an easy way to clean those. Or if you got like a hot tub or something, I think this is great as well. It's a telescoping pole, which is kind of cool. So it all stores in there. You don't have to attach it to another one. 14% off at $99.99. There is a $10 off coupon, so it's actually $89.99 right now. So nice deal on that one. All right, we're going to keep moving. We're looking at different pool vacs and other things to go with your pool to help you clean it. And one that I really like a lot is the Scuba S1. This is one of my favorites.
Pool vacuum designed, for in-ground pools specifically, but I do use it, here in my above ground pool all the time. So this has got what they call Caterpillar style wheels, kind of like a tank tire, and then it's got these brushes here in the front. They're going to clean the floor as it's moving, but this also can climb walls and then clean that water line. A couple things else also on it. This is your basket. It's going to have all your gross stuff in it and you want to clean out good. You're going to have 4 different cleaning modes. You'll hold this button down. First mode here is auto. Auto mode is going to split its time in half on the walls, half on the floors. So it'll do walls first, then floors, and then park itself when it's done. This mode here is floors only, 100% floors. This mode is 100% walls. This one is like an eco mode. So on the 100% floor and walls, what that does is spend its entire battery life on that particular segment, whatever you put it on. And then when it's finished, down to about 15% battery, it'll park itself against the wall and you pull it out. The eco mode, that's in that 4 slot down over here. I'm going to show you one more time. Right there. What that's going to do is it'll come on the first day, cleaning the floors for 45 minutes, and then it shuts off. And then 48 hours later, it comes on again for 45 minutes and then stops. 48 hours after that, it cleans again for 45 minutes. So you get 3 45-minute cleaning sessions over a 5-day period. So we're going to put it on floor only. And I'm going to drop this into my above ground pool. You can help it a little bit, sink if you want to. It's heavy enough, honestly. It kind of pushes itself down in, and you'll see it kind of start to like, hey, is there water in me? Like I said, this is fairly dirty above ground pool right now that I'm hoping to get all this cleaned up before a freeze hits, honestly, and get all these leaves out. But we'll watch it take off here. And the blue light means I'm completely charged up.
Blue light special,
solid blue light before you
blue light
drop into
special,
the pool.
aisle 4.
All right, so here it goes. So you can see those front wheels are moving, and it'll end up running into the wall and go, oh, okay, there's a wall there. I don't want to climb it, so I'm going to go back down. And then it'll turn itself around. It only goes in that forward direction where those front rollers are at. That's the only direction it goes when it cleans, because it's scrubbing that floor at the same time, which that spot right there was pretty dirty, so hopefully we'll see it get some of that up. But yeah, so we'll let this run around and see if it can pick up quite a few of these leaves here in our above ground pool. But yeah, there it goes. And I can already see a little streak right to that little streak it just created. Maybe you can see there's bubbles, but between that dirty spots, there's some streaks there that came in. And it's going to clean. It's going to clean for 2.5 hours. I'm here in the pool and just picking up all those leaves, all those debris. It's going to try to do an S pattern on the bottom of the floor. With this being in a round above ground pool, it's not going to be a perfect S. but it's going to be pretty close to that. It's going to try to do its best to overlap itself around the pool and do a good job of cleaning it up. So we'll come back, fish it out, and then I'll show you what kind of leaves and debris it had in it once it's done in 2.5 hours. All right, so I can see the Scuba S1 has parked itself over here on the side. It'll do it every time. It'll always self-park against the wall, and if you look across the pool there, all those leaves are gone. So we're gonna go fish it out. So out of the pool, all you have to do is open this part up here, and this is gonna be your basket. And if you open that up, you see everything that it picked up. So lots of little pieces of dirt and debris and leaves. So you'll rinse this piece out and then drop it back in there. You won't really have to do any other cleaning really. You just got to clean that out, and then once it dries off a little bit, make sure that port on the back is nice and dry. You go back to charging it. That's your Aper Scuba S1.
So the Scuba S1 is technically designed for in-ground pools because it will climb walls and it can, do, which is what really a lot of in-ground pools, owners are really looking for, because their walls can get a little ick at times. We don't have that problem as much with above ground pools, but at times you do. And it can go up and down slants. So it doesn't matter if you got depth changes, you should have no issues with it going up and down. That tends to be ones made for in-ground pools. So if you got a real cheap above ground pool, this is probably not one for you. If you got an in-ground pool, or you've got a more expensive big above ground pool, this one's really perfect for you. 17% off right now. As I said, every time I put this into my pool, I feel like it gets so sparkling clean on the bottom. Like it gets so much of the stuff up because it turns around. So good. So love that one. All right, let's go back and look at a smaller vac just made. I showed you the Planet. This is its big brother, the Planet Pro.
We're here with the Gosford Planet Pro pool vac. This is made for above ground pools.
I never realized.
Not really meant for in-ground pools.
That's
because it can't go up inclines.
Oops.
It's got passive wheels on it.
This is
$129. The great thing about this one is you are going to get about 2 hours of cleaning out of it. Yeah, so it is good
time out of it
for an above ground pool up to almost 1,300 square
feet. Most of them go 90 minutes.
I'm using
30
it
minutes
in
long.
a 24-foot round above ground pool. This one will charge on the bottom. You've got little brushes that help push debris into here. Your wheels are very far in recess, which is nice because it helps it move around the bottom of the pool really, really fast. You'll turn it on here on the top. So if you hold this button down, you'll see it go through the color cycles. Full green means I'm completely charged. And then when you do put this in your pool, you are best off if you kind of sink it in a little bit. Just hold it there for a few seconds. You'll feel it start to come out of your hand when it's, gotten full enough of water. And then this is going to take off pretty quick. And this one usually moves like a rocket ship. Of course, it's going to push against the wall first. It would just happen to go that direction. But this thing moves so quick across the pool that I'm really hoping that it's able to get these leaves. See, we're very windy today, and there's lots of leaves on the bottom of the pool. There it goes. Look at it. Just zoom, zoom, zoom. I'm going to take off. And this is going to do kind of I would say it ends up like a zigzag around the pool. So every time it hits a wall or it hits a big hump or something, it's going to change directions. That's just how these are made. Once it gets that resistance inside and it feels like that's a wall, it's going to move the other way.
Again, the $40 coupon on this one.
Very windy day.
It's
hard to get a good picture of it. You can see the wind hitting the top water.
Especially if you got a big above ground pool.
This is going to start zigzagging around the pool. We'll see if we can catch it here just for a minute. We'll fast forward and time lapse it. All right, so the vacuum is parked over here against the wall, and using the hook, we pull it up. And if you'll just take it, when you pull it out, what I always do is just put it on the edge of the pool like that, and just let a lot of that water drain out for you, and then take it to where you're going to clean it.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got the vac pulled out, and to open this one up, you're just going to pull on the side pieces. They'll kind of flex out. You'll just pull that, put it over there, and then let's see. Oh yeah, look at that. Got a good amount of leaves. Some debris on there, good leaves in there. So we got to rinse these off. This only goes back on one way, so make sure you line it up. It will kind of just set down on top of it, and then the motor will match up to that same little spot, and just push it down, and that's it. Now the one thing you need to do after you pull it out is you want to make sure that's dry before you charge it. You use a towel or something, or let it just sit there and dry for a little bit. But yeah, so there is your Planet Pro above ground pool vacuum from Co Steering. Does a great
At least I said co-steering at the end. So the unique thing, I've shown you a couple already that are similar to this, right? Couple things I like about this one. One, I do like that you turn it on top. I'm not a huge fan of the ones where I got to turn it on the bottom. I don't know. It's just you got to flip it over and stuff. This one is going to run for 2 hours. All the other ones, especially in the simmer pricing category, they're only going to run for 90 minutes. So 100, you get the extra 30 minutes. That's a huge difference. So if you've got an above ground pool that I would say is, up to like, I don't know. I haven't seen very many 24-foot round, bigger than 24 round, but I guess there are some on Amazon. But 24-foot round and below, this is going to be great for you because it's going to go around and probably hit most of your pool twice. Because square footage on like even a 24-foot is like 600-700. So I mean, you're going to get a lot of coverage. And again, these are picking up leaves, dead bugs, hair, little things like that. These are not made to pick up algae. They will grab some sand. So like if you do happen to have some sand or dirt in the bottom of your pool, that stuff can get caught inside that cavity on there at times. But it's not going to grab the algae pieces. That's when you have to have one with a microfilter built into it to take care of that. But man, what a great price! This is. I thought the other Co Steering was going to be. It was $99, and it runs for 90 minutes. This one at $129. That is a really great deal. 4.2 stars is nothing to sneeze at in the robot vac industry for pools. You'll notice that most of them don't have a lot of reviews, if any. And then usually it's only these days. I think we're at this weird stage in society where we only complain, right? And so the majority of the time you see reviews on Amazon, it's just the people who want to gripe. We don't tend to go review good. You know what I mean? So I like a 4.2 star, even though it's only 75. And 75, don't get scared of that either. A lot of these pool vac companies, because they're putting out a new model every 6 months or so. It's just a new listing all the time. So that kind of happens quite a bit. But yeah, $129 on this. Great deal. Really good price. Let's see. Did we already look at? I don't think we did. Let's see. Scuba S. No, if we looked at Seagull SC. I remember that now. Because I talked about its little brother. Let's see. I think I've got this isn't something to clean your pool. This is something to have fun in your pool. I love. Oh, it's the wrong ones. Oh, did I take them off? Hang on. There we go. Let me put the correct water guns in my carousel and then unmute
this 2-pack of these water guns,
has nothing to do with
water
cleaning.
blasters, whatever you might decide to call them. So you're going to get 2, and these are different than most water guns
2-packs only
that you might be accustomed
bucks.
to. To open this one up, you'll grab on this back spot there and see how that comes open. And then all you got to do, these are made for the pool. Like within a second or two, I'm completely full. I can lock that back into place, and I could even come back around with that one. And then all I got to do is start pulling that trigger. Let's do that again. Watch. The 24-foot round pool. Let's see how if we can get over it here. Oh yeah. So let's go way over a 24-foot round, and then next time I want to fill it up, all I gotta do is just open this back up, as you can see here, dunk it in the pool, pull it back up. It's already over full at that point, and then go back to shooting. So really nice, fun, easy to use.
So these are just for fun. We when we do get in the pool, it's nice to just kind of goof off. My son and I oftentimes will shoot at bugs and stuff, or the birds when they fly over. But this is a 2-pack, and they fill up really quick. So like it's perfect for the pool because you just bloop, dunk them in the water and pull them back out, and they're completely filled back up for you, which I really like. And they shoot like 30 something feet, which is a lot. So check that out just for fun. Like I said, it's not going to clean your pool unless you're like, cleaning the sidewalls or something like that. Let's see, this pool blaster. This is a unique little way to kind of clean your pool.
Battery operated.
Anyway,
I've got it on an extension pole. I already tried it real quick, and I'm like so impressed by it. I've got a lot of leaves here off season in my pool, so I pushed the button here and turn it on, and then we just put this down.
They make a
into the
rechargeable
pool.
one of this too.
This thing just starts forcing
says it's not
leaves
available.
up inside it. Look at this.
The rechargeable one is available.
I have a lot of leaves because I didn't cover the pool here, and it's winter. And I've been getting them out here and there with some small vacs, but nothing near the quantity of this. Oh my gosh.
This is my older.
And the cool thing is I've got it on my pole here, so I've got the full length of the pool that I can reach with my pole, and it's just down there doing its thing, picking everything up. Holy cow.
Look at this was like in the winter.
Look at
fall.
all those leaves I got out in just, under a minute and a half.
So like, it looks like the battery operated one may not be available, but there is a rechargeable one. They may have another version too. So if you just look up Pool Blaster, this is a cool way to grab leaves. And it's a kind of a quick way to do it. You're obviously going to put it on your pole and you got to manually do it. But when you have this was literally like after a thunderstorm and it like filled the pool. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's going to turn into algae. And this was a great way to kind of get it out really quick. So take a look at that one. Ooh, I messed up my thing here. Let's see. Oh, the Gosford Pivot. The Gosford Pivot is a really interesting pool vac. It moves around differently than any other one I've really seen. I'm trying to find it here.
All right, we're here with the Gosford Pivot pool vacuum. We're ready to put this one in the pool. You're just going to push this button once, okay? That little blue light starts to flash, and then you're going to hold this into the water, okay?
29% off right now.
So you can see all those bubbles. So now that motor's starting to suck water in. All right, so see, it's climbing the wall there. Now this does not clean the water line. This is going to clean the wall itself. So this is going to run around the pool. We'll go up the walls, clean those walls for about 100 minutes. And then it will self-park itself when it's finished. So the pivot is over here close to a wall. We'll use our little hook. You can kind of try to get it in that way. It's usually easier to just grab it here on the back. You will need two hands probably, but I'll show you how to pull it. When you pull it up, once it starts to go, it comes up real simple because it really doesn't weigh much because it's floating. But if I can catch it here, when I pull it out, that water drains out really fast right there. So just kind of hang it over the side of the pool. That'll get all that water out. Now let's open it up. All right, so remember, you tip this over onto its top. It's got little rubber pads, so it's not going to mess it up. Pop this, do that. This will pop open. And then your bag here is what you're going to be looking at, okay? So you'll pull this. And again, this is one of those things that usually needs two hands. All right, so look at that. You can get it in the sunlight there. You can see I've actually got a lot more nastiness than I thought I would get. I thought the pool was kind of clean. Got a leaf in there. You can see there's a lot of sand and stuff in there, but because this thing pretty much catches everything that goes through it, it's a great way when you do have a lot of little particles like that. Look at that. It's all in there. Did a fantastic job. Look at that. All right, so let me get my sprayer out. You want to spray rinse all this. So when it's cleaned out, it's supposed to be nice and green, right? This is supposed to be clean. So when you put it back together, make sure that flap's on the inside there. Make sure you also put it on the right way. Again, you probably gonna need two hands with this. All right, so it's all back on. Make sure it's kind of all the way down there, so it's good to go. This part, you really shouldn't have to clean this part, because that should be where clean water runs through, but you might just double check it. Make sure nothing got stuck in there. And then when you're putting it on, if you just kind of let that kind of hang down, make sure it gets down in there. Then it'll kind of just get around, check it, make sure there's nothing sticking out. That's all popped down. Then he's got to turn these back. And you know, make sure there's nothing down in there either. But yeah, so that's the pivot here from Gosford.
So what's interesting with this one is it could be for in-ground or above-ground pools. It climbs up the walls. It's not in a specific pattern though. You'll notice in a lot of them, you know, it kind of goes back and forth. This one, it doesn't tend to like be a complete pattern for it, but it will go up and clean the floor, the walls, and it should, in its time that it has, if you know, it should clean the entire wall and floor up to 1,100 square foot. For I didn't realize that was going to not loop. Forgot I did a brand stream and left it there. But the bag on it is interesting because most of them are baskets. But this has got that big green bag in there, which grabs the fine dirt and the dust and debris and all those things. So if you do have a lot of dirt and things going on in your pool, this will catch it. It'll catch algae as well, and it's light. Like this thing weighs like hardly anything. You pick it up and you're like, is there anything in this? Like it's so lightweight, which is really interesting to me, and it makes it easier to use. So 29% off on it right now, which is really nice. Let's see, YBot. I haven't shown YBot in a while. I haven't used this one in a bit. Let me find my video here. When you got too many videos, this is always the problem here. So this one, check out this.
All right, so we've got the YBot, kind of a
looks like it is.
Fluorescent green
Yeah,
style
154. This
pool
one
bag
cleans
that
for
we're
just
going to
50
drop
minutes.
into our 24-foot
Short,
round
clean.
above ground pool. So make sure you have it completely charged. Your charger will show a little green light, so you know that it's ready to go. And then your power button is on the bottom of this one. Now it does
Good
recommend
for about a 500
that
square foot
you
pool.
submerge it for a few
great
seconds
ratings
before
on
you
it.
turn it on. You can kind of do either or. I'll need two hands to do that, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn it on real quick.
To be honest with you.
You just push that, and you hear a beep, and then just push this down in the water. Okay, so just push it down, sink it, hold on to it until it's submerged, and then let it go. It'll sink down there to the bottom, and then this thing takes off immediately. Look at that. So what I'm hoping is it grabs all these leaves and stuff, and it's getting over already. Look at that, grabbing leaves. So it's getting over some of these humps that I've got and folds that I've got in the bottom of my pool already. That's pretty cool. So it ran to the wall there. Now it's going to turn around. So this isn't going to go in necessarily a particular pattern. It does have a wheel on each end and then a wheel on both sides, and it'll kind of pivot around as it needs to go. But that's what it looks like on the bottom of the pool. See, it changed directions there. because of my wrinkles that I have in the bottom of the pool. You can see it's gotten a little dirty right now. But it's going to run around and clean, and hopefully maybe we can catch it grabbing some leaves. Oh, I missed those. So we're just going to let it run around the pool. It's going to zigzag around and clean for a little while here. When it gets done, we'll pull it out, and then I'll show you if it got all of these leaves up. That's what we're hoping. We're about to have a freeze, and I'd rather this stuff not be underneath here in the pool, especially if we get a layer of ice. So I'll come back later on and I will see what it did. All right, so pool looks nice and clean. We got all the leaves and stuff out. The robot parked itself up against the sidewall. It'll do that every time it gets down to the end of the battery life. I've got my hook attached here. The goal here basically will be to grab a hold of that. It's going to feel like it basically weighs nothing. So pull that out of the pool. All right, so we've got it out of the pool. You're going to have water draining out of it. You know, you can kind of tip it certain ways and get that water out. So we're going to open it up. You'll pull this part off. That part will be fine. This is your screen that's down in here. And then pull this out. And look at that. So you can see there's some stuff stuck in there we'll need to rinse off. And then down in here, of course, a lot of water.
So this is a little smaller vac for above ground pool, and it's going to be for smaller boats. So I would say like 18, maybe 20 foot round. I wouldn't be any bigger than that for this one, because it does clean for just 50 minutes. So it's one of those, you know, you got a 15-foot round. It's going to be perfect for that. So check that one out from Wybot. Let's see. I've only got a few more minutes left, but I do want to show a few more. Quitron. Do I have that video in here? You don't know. I know, maybe. Did I forget to put it in? Oh, there it is. The Spider. This one's called the Spider.
All right, this is the Spider here from Quitron. It's a robotic pool vacuum cleaner made for above ground pools. It is fully charged, and you do charge it here on the bottom, and it's got its little holes and brushes.
So it's like
these brushes will just sweep your pool floor and push any debris into those holes. It's got nice recessed wheels on it. It's accessible here from the top. It'll pop open all four sides, and then take this top off, and then down in here will be where all your debris is. The screen is really tight, and it holds all the dirty stuff that it can into there. Now if it's smaller than these holes, obviously it'll come back out. This is what your motor side looks like. That side's always clean, honestly. That's where all the clean water is. And so we'll pop those together, and then to turn this one on, it's on top, which I'm really happy about. All right, so let's hold the button down. It will cycle through. It's ready to go. We got a full green. So then you're going to take it to your pool, and you want to hold it in, okay? Let it completely fill up with water. And then once it feels like it's full enough to go to the bottom, let go of it. And then it'll kind of calibrate itself and find out where it's at. You know, it may tap up against the wall first, who knows. We'll kind of see what it does. Looks like it's going to take off that way. Moving quick, look at that. And it's going to zigzag around. It will get detoured if it runs over wrinkles or dips. Your pool's supposed to be flat, Scott, but mine is not. And it's going to pick up anything that it finds, you know, and runs over while it's doing its cleaning cycle here. Kind of see it over there. It's supposed to run for, I think, at least 2 hours.
It's 90 minutes.
See it over here. It's tapped against the wall. And then a white light came on, and now it's probably going to go the opposite direction now. There we go. And what it'll do is when it gets down to, you know, usually around 15% battery on these, when it gets down to that, then it will park against the sidewall, and we'll pull it out. We'll kind of just sit here for a minute, Watch it move around. Now, your pool's supposed to be flat, as I said, but mine's not. Mine's got wrinkles and dips because the ground is settled.
I like the time lapse with the little floaters moving around.
All right, so the vacuum has ended over here, narrow wall, self-parked itself. Using our hook, I can see it. We'll pull it out here. When you do pull it out, I would suggest like just holding it over the edge. Look, it's got little water holes in it that are going to let a lot of that water out of there for you. Might as well put it back into the pool. All right, now we'll take it to where we clean it and we'll see what we get inside it. To get inside it, you will pop these open and then pull that top off. And then look at this. So this is what I was expecting of this one, is not a lot of leaves. We do have some though, but I'm getting this sand. Either it's from the weather or my sand pump is pushing out some sand, which is possible. But look, we got a lot of that. And so we got 3 or 4 or 5 leaves, a bunch of little bitty things, but I've got sand all in here, which is telling me I've got an issue going on. But the vacuum is getting a.
So this is another good little vac that is made for above ground pools up to about 850 square feet. It's going to run for 90 minutes. It's going to pick up leaves, going to pick up dead bugs, and it will grab some dirt and sand that might be there on the bottom of your pool floor. 10% off on this makes it like $127. So again, right there in a good price range compared to a lot of the ones that we've got there in the carousel and you'll find everywhere else. Let's see. Let's look at the Pondy. Pondy is one as well that I've been playing around with here lately. I like the way it looks.
This is the X1 above ground pool vac here from Pondy. I want to demo here. First time I'll be putting in the pool here. This particular unit charges
this
here on the bottom. Then it has these little passive brushes that'll just help sweep the bottom of the floor and push debris into these holes. Got 4 nice passive wheels that are recessed so it doesn't stick way up off the pool floor. So it's very hydrodynamic. You can also tell that with the way that it's shaped here. You'll open it up by getting into these 4 spots here. Pull all those down. Then you'll pull out off your motor here. This will be where your debris and stuff will be. This only goes on one way. And then you simply just pop that back on. And what I do really like about this one is the power button's on top here. You'll hold it down until you kind of see it get through these colors. And a solid green means we're 100% charged. So we will put this in the pool. You need to hold it down, kind of dunk it, make sure it's quit bubbling for the most part, and then let it go, and probably will kick on as soon as it gets down to the bottom there. This is going to clean for 2 hours here on the bottom of the pool. Ooh, it zipped off. There we go. My pool is very uneven.
Yeah, this gets 2 hours of cleaning
from
for a
the
really
ground
good price.
settling
Just
due to the flood.
$139.99.
And so I'm shocked at how well this has already taken off. So yeah, this will zigzag around. It's not going to be in a particular pattern. That's pretty common with the above ground pool vacuums like this without motorized wheels. It'll basically go to the other side and then it'll tap against the wall and then turn around and do the other way. So if you were to kind of look at it, maybe in a full time lapse, it'd be kind of a zigzag, spoke of a bicycle tire kind of look. You can see it coming across. I will say this is moving across that pool pretty quickly here. We'll watch it here. We'll time lapse a few minutes of it cleaning so you can kind of get a little bit of an idea of the pattern. It may not be the same in your pool, but you'll get a little bit of an idea.
The old days I'd play the Jeopardy song over this, but now you can't do music on Amazon a lot. So if you got an above ground pool, this is a good one to grab all that debris and stuff.
All right, so we're gonna let it run around, and then like I said, what will happen is when it gets down to like 15% battery, it'll seek out a wall, bump up against it, and stop there till we pull it out. All right, vacuum is parked over here on the side. We use our little hook here and pull it up, and then once you get it up to the top, what I do with these is just kind of set it on the side of the pool, you know, for 10-15 seconds or so. You can see there's little holes that will let a lot of that water out. That way you don't have to splash it all over your feet and stuff. And then we'll take it to where we clean it, and I don't suspect there'll be hardly anything in there because there was no leaves or anything at the bottom of the pool, but let's just go look at it anyway. All right, so to get into this one, we open it up all 4 ends. We open up that part again. That part is not going to be dirty. Oh, well, I stand corrected. Look at this. Look at this dirt. Wow. Okay, so while we didn't have big stuff, what I'm seeing here, I haven't seen one like this, you know, perform like this before, but look at all this dirt that it got up. We were having a lot of dirt storms throughout Texas, and so I do have some small stuff, but look at all of that sand and dirt that this picked up and held inside of here. That's one of the things that this type of vacuum with the cavity like this, it can hold in some of that stuff where the basket style ones can't. So that's a huge advantage. So let me rinse this out. All right, we'll put it back together. It does have to kind of be facing where these little dots are up, and then the little motor spot will line up like that. Motor spot here, looks like that's on that side. And then all we gotta do is clamp this back down. I like the clamps. And we're ready.
So this is a good little vacuum. I do like that. A couple of things. One, the buttons on top to turn it on. I just dig that. I like that better than the ones that are on the bottom. It's just less hassle. It's cordless. It's, you know, you don't have the retrieval rope thing you have to do that some of them have. It charges in 2.5 hours, and then you get 2 hours of runtime out of it. That's pretty unique. Most of them take like 3 hours or so, and you get just 90 minutes. So, you know, the fact you're getting more clean out of it is really nice. So if you got an above ground pool that's, you know, 24-foot round or smaller, this is going to be really good for you. You can use this in an in-ground pool, but it's got to be flat floors, like no changes in depth. Any of these made like this with passive wheels, that's going to be the case. So make sure you take a look at this one. It's only $139.99 to pick up all that debris and stuff like that. Ooh, I got to show you this next one. It's a Surfer S2. I just literally pulled this out of the pool here a few minutes ago and cleaned it again. This is an interesting.
This is the Aiper Surfer S2 top of the pool water skimmer. You can use this in an in-ground pool, which is probably the most common for this size, or an above-ground pool. I'm going to put it into a very dirty 24-foot above-ground pool. The wind is blowing like crazy, and there is just tons of stuff all in my pool. This is solar charged, so I can either use the solar aspect of it in the auto mode. It'll automatically just keep charging itself, or I can plug it in if I want to. So here's what we're going to turn this one on. And we turn it on here.
This is better this year.
See that come on? It will immediately come on when you're in auto mode.
Like multiple buttons.
And the little things back here, the little motors, will start to move around and go, hey, am I in the water yet or anything?
Which way to go.
And then your basket that cleans, look at that. It is moving around up there, and that's going to push that debris into the basket. So let's just
There's also a flat that keeps stuff from coming back
into our pool. And it's going to sense the water, and it has little sensors in it as well that will let it know when it's going to run into stuff. And this is going to go around and look. There's so much stuff. I don't know if you can see this or not. Like, if we zoom in over here, look at all that.
It was just
And so
that wind
this is going to start
we had
going
60 mile an
around
hour winds going on.
getting that stuff,
Which is rare
because
for
I don't
us.
want
We
that to
hardly
sink to the
ever
bottom of
have
the pool
windy at all.
floor, even though I do have robots to clean them.
15 miles per
I don't want
hour.
that to turn into algae. So look at this thing go. And with it being solar charged, I don't have to worry about this thing. I can just let it run and run and run. And then when it does get down below a certain battery life, it'll turn itself off and wait for it to charge back up.
This thing can
let's watch it scoop
feasibly
up.
run 24 hours. a
So
day.
look at
It's
this.
insane.
It's just
The
getting
$50
all
off
of that.
coupon on the product page.
Look at the leaf. Bye-bye. This is perfect. Look at this. Steered itself from hitting the sidewall here, so it kind of turned itself a little bit. The wind may actually move it around a bit too, but it's got so much propulsion going on. Look how stuff is just going into it while it sits still. Look at that.
Pause for a shout out for RJ. Thank you.
Not even moving right now, and there's still things just flying into it. You can connect this to the Aper app.
was
then
so
you'll be able to
interesting to watch it
control
just
it and do a
pull
lot of
stuff
other
in
things
there.
with it.
It wasn't even moving.
But man, this thing could just sit right here, and it's just going to grab all this stuff.
The
Look at
wind
this.
was pushing
This
it
is
hard.
insane.
But that little thing, the little motor in there's the beater bar is just kind of moving
All
around.
right,
Look at
so
that. Now
the
look at the
Surfer
difference.
S2 has been out here running in my pool now for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And if you remember when we started, it was completely covered, right? Just a little bit left, and it's almost gotten every bit of it. Look at this. And I'm going to bet that that is full. So I'm going to let it come over here to me, and then we'll pull it out of the pool. You could use your remote control with the Aper app and bring it over to yourself if you wanted to, but let me grab it out of here. All right, so before I take it out, I am going to go ahead and turn it off,
I just did that
just so
I
it's
didn't get
not
my
running
fingers
while it's up
caught
here.
in the thing.
And let's pull it out and let some of this water drain. Now all I have to do to open this and get
It's
the debris
much
out
easier
is
this year
to pull
out.
this. So just pull that out. And I can already tell there's tons in here. So let's look.
Like it was weighty.
Look at that.
Look at
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Like I didn't know it would be
like-
that much.
Finger length deep, full of this junk. That is insane. You even got the big leaves and stuff. So I'll need to clean that out. But you also want to check when you pull one out, make sure you don't have anything stuck
Yeah,
in
look at all that
here.
stuff that was
You
in
can go and rinse all this stuff out as well. Yeah, let's go clean this out real quick. So this will be pretty simple for the most part. I mean, literally watch this. See if we can see it, all of it come out. Look, there's just
Watch the noise.
big old pile of
Slapped.
stuff.
That dog never stops barking. My neighbor's dog.
So pretty much got it all out. And then I'm also going to just make sure that, because I know there was a lot.
So I mean, this thing is the top of the pool, top of the water pool skimmer for above ground pools or in ground pools. Most people who are going to get this are probably in ground pool owners because you're bigger pools. But either one of us can use it. It's going to avoid smaller obstacles. It's not going to like get caught up in your ladder. It's got little sensors to kind of go, oh, and it's going to go the other way. It's even got little feet that you can pop out that if you do have like a sunbathing platform in your in-ground pool, it doesn't try to get open that because it could get stuck. So it'll stop, and it keeps it from going up on there. But 24/7 this will run because it's solar powered. I don't know where the cord is for it, and it's been in my pool for a week or so, and it's gotten it. I threw it in there yesterday. I took it back out today, this afternoon, because it was clean on top for now. So yeah, I love how easy this is, and it keeps, especially when you have an extreme issue like this, you don't want that stuff stuck in your filter and in your any other skimmer for in-ground or above ground. And so this is a much easier way to do it. So check that one out. Like one of my favorite new things. All right, my other favorite new thing is going to be the Aper's X Scuba X1. This is made for in-ground pools, but I always
this is
use
the
everything in my
Aper
background
Scuba
pools. This is insane when it gets done here.
This is a powerful
Like, insane.
pool vacuum
Those are the same day.
that can clean the floors, it can clean the walls, and it cleans the water line horizontally. You've got different modes that you can set it into. You can see over here it's
20%
got
off on this
these
one right now.
what I call a Caterpillar, tank sort of tires. This will help get up any inclines it needs to get up, get over like drain on the bottom of your pool floor for your in-ground pool. No problems whatsoever. That also helps it climb the walls. It's going to have the PVC brushes on the front and the back, so it's got 4 of those, cleaning the floor and the walls as it goes along. One thing I do want to show you is unique on this one is where the dirty water, the debris, all that stuff will be when we get done. When we open this up,
This is the unique thing. This is the game changer here for this.
This extra little filter.
I hadn't
that's
used this one
internal
yet.
in
You can see
here.
how white it is. Now mine's like brown.
And what this one is designed to do is catch algae. Where this is the typical filter you'll see, which catches leaves and bugs and stuff like that. This is going to catch the very, very fine microorganisms. So I'm going to leave that in here because I'm sure in my pool I've got some of those.
We had a lot of dirt from all these
that back
storms.
down. Now to turn it on, what we are going to do here is you've got 4 different modes. You've got this mode here, which is going to clean the floors and the walls. It'll split its time in half and clean floors and walls. This is your floor only mode, which is what we're going to put it in for this demo. And then we have our wall only mode. And then this is your water line mode. So I want to put it just in floor mode. So if we watch it, hopefully the sun won't block it out, but we'll try to see. We'll hold it down. It's going to beep. We're there. And then we're there. And then I'm just going to put this in the pool.
We're there.
It's pretty heavy, let's be honest. And it will sink itself down fairly quickly. Over there we do have our Surfer S2 cleaning the top of the pool. All right, so it has kicked on now. And let's see it get in action here.
Horizontal stream is currently down, it says. So let's see.
All right, so it's going to turn around because it's like, oh, there's a wall there. And this will start sensing because it's got